Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. So today we're going to talk about Lexxi. Lexxi is a platform born out of my own personal frustrations as a writer and somebody who wants to become more articulate in how I speak. Uh, Basically, it's a platform that is going to help you to improve vocabulary retention. One of the things that defines somebody who is articulate is that they know how to use, they have enough words to use for every situation they're trying to express themselves in. So maybe they want to explain something, they have the right vocabulary for it. So Lexi basically helps me to become better in terms of retaining the vocabulary that I come across and learn, then so that I can actually use them, the vocabulary in my conversations and in my writing. So as you can see, Lexi is a platform that helps you learn, retain, and use newly acquired vocabulary so you become articulate in your writing and your speech. I want to share this solution with everyone out there. I built it for myself basically, but I feel like it can actually help you. So let's look at what's the problem is currently. So the challenge is that the reason why we struggle to remember and use new vocabulary is there are so many reasons why that, but I've narrowed down to about three for now. So first of all is something known as lookup loop. So lookup loop is that scenario where you look up the definition of a specific word, understand it in that moment, and then completely forget what it means the next time you come across it. So I am sure this is something that you struggle with, you've actually had experience with. You read something, you look up the meaning of that word, and then you go on with your reading. Then 2 days later, you find the same word, and you've already forgotten what that word means. That's one of the challenge. That is one of the challenge that makes it hard for you to actually use the vocabulary that you learn. The second challenge is called passive active gap. This is a frustration of easily recognizing high level words on a page, but drawing a complete blank when trying to use those exact same words in everyday conversations and writing. So basically, you are a reader, you're an avid reader, you come across so many new words every single day when you read. You know the meanings of these words, but when you want to write or when you want to have a conversation or make a speech, you try to remember these words, but they're not coming easily. So that is called the passive active gap. There's a disconnect between what you learned and what you can actually apply. The third one is something known as idiomatic blind spots. So idiomatic blind spot is basically understanding every single individual word in a sentence, but failing to grasp the full meaning because the words combine into a cultural idiom or phrasal verb that makes no literal sense. So this is a scenario where you read, of course, every single word in that sentence is something that you know. It's within your basic lexicon, but that whole combination of words is not really making sense to you, so you do not really understand the meaning of that sentence, and in that manner you do not really know how to, you cannot relate to that statement or that sentence, and you cannot use it maybe in future. So this is the reason why it becomes hard for you to actually use the vocabulary that you've learned and to remember them whenever you're writing or speaking. Now, Lexi is basically an attempt to solve this solution, to find a solution to this problem. And what does Lexi do? Lexi helps you to do three things for a start. First, the first thing is that we have to understand that the biggest reason we forget vocabulary is that we consume words but never produce them. So this goes back to this problem which is called passive active gap. The moment you learn about a new word and the moment you decide to use that word, maybe in your writing or in your speech, those two have a very big disconnect. That is what makes it hard for you to actually remember the vocabulary that you learn. So, what is Lexi going to help you? When you're reading and you come across a word that is new to you, it will it basically first acts as a dictionary. So you just get into your Lexi account and then you search the meaning of the words or the phrase. So you just type in the word or phrase you meet while reading. So this also includes the long idiomatic blind spots that you come across. You can simply type the entire phrase into that into Lexi, and then it's going to tell you the meaning of that sentence or the word that you've come across. Now, besides giving you that explanation or that definition of that word or phrase, it's going to do something that is very important for you to remember that vocabulary. It's going to stack it. Normally, when we're doing our own studies and we come across these words, we search for them, the meaning in Google, and then we forget about it. It goes, it's in the history of our search, but it's not something that you can really reference. So Lexi makes it easy for you to reference. It basically saves that word or phrase into your library so that you can later reference it. And then the third and the most important thing that Lexi helps you, it gives you an opportunity for you to actually use those words and phrases that you've learned in your writing. So me personally, there's one thing that I usually do very often. It's called writing brain dumps. Brain dumps are basically when I offload the ideas that I have in my mind uh, on paper or while I'm typing. So it's basically it doesn't have to be a sensical article or essay. It just has to be me offloading my words. Now, when I pair this brain dumps writing with applying the lexicon, the vocabulary that I have just learned, it has given me an opportunity to use those new vocabulary or the new words in the most intimate type of writing that I'm doing. That is brain dumps. It now reduces the distance between learning and taking action. It reduces that what we call passive active gap. Besides the three steps that Lexi is going to help you to retain vocabulary, there are two other things that, which is one of them we've already talked about, but basically the first one is it's going to help you collect quotes worth keeping. So you normally come across quotes, maybe you're reading or you're watching a movie and then somebody just mentions a very nice quote. He makes a very nice quote that you would like to remember. So one of the movies that I really enjoy watching, or the series that I really enjoy watching, is called Blacklist. And the main character there, Raymond Reddington, he usually makes very nice monologue speeches, yes, quotes. So whenever I hear those quotes, I usually just take some time and then I write it down so that I can save it for future because I like the quotes that he has. So basically, Lex is going to help you to do that. If you have quotes that you want to store for future, for referencing, or maybe for just for fun, it's going to give you that opportunity. And then second, it's the ability to write brain dumps. Brain dumps writing is like journaling. So basically, it's a platform for you to journal, but now with the added advantage of helping you use the vocabulary that you've just learned. And that is just the starting point of Lexi. Of course, there are so many things that we'll be working on to actually help you guys to learn and retain vocabulary. And if you want to just give it a try, you can actually just give Lexi a try and see how it's going to help you in terms of having a library of new words in your lexicon and actually using this new vocabulary in your writing and in your speech. So, and then finally, this is just a call to action for you to give it a try. And that brings us to the end of this introduction to Lexi. We'll be doing more videos about this, explaining how to use Lexi. Thank you.